Okay, we just got a high-speed boring bar in here, and we're going to come in here and we're going to touch. We've already mic'd up and measured up and drew up what we're going to be machining in here, and we're going to slowly bore this out to where we can find out how deep that groove is in there. So we're going to be playing with it a little bit at a time here. We're going to take like 25 aside here. Here we go. We reduced our feed rate a little bit. Whatever was in that groove was pretty well rolled over. Coming down to the bottom of that bearing support there. Okay, that's my zero mark where I was just touching it. I came in and I just touched off on that surface there. Okay. I'm going to roll this around. It's almost like there's a piece of steel or something in there. Well, I tell you, it's pretty hard to tell what's in there, because you can see that it's shining like it's work hardened right there, but I can almost peel it out with like my scribe, but yet that's the valley where it's at. All right, let's take a couple more cuts here. We're gonna sneak up on it, I guess. Sure is weird. Okay, we made a call and we were in question. There's only a bearing that goes in here and then that cap, and that cap fits the same diameter there. There is no snap ring, no washer, no nothing. So this has obviously got to be a wear. And that's why it's off center, and at one time the wheel was wobbling around that much, and that's what we ended up having with that surface. This cut here looks like it's taking it out past that last little area right there. Excellent. We're just cutting this dry, and we're gonna be scrubbing out this bore with a scrub brush and some acetone and all around the front there and everything else before we start welding it up. We have a preheat. We'll see what we get as far as the quality of weld here. Unknown on a 1968 piece of material here. Okay, now we're just going to come in and we want to touch the top because I want to go ahead and add some if I have to that surface right there. All right, bare minimum. I just want to clean that out. We're hitting there. We're hitting. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're gonna be scrubbing that out in there, but we're gonna be probably trying to weld a little bit of that right on the top there. All right, and then this will be. We'll just take a rotary burr and we'll take and we'll open that back up where we need to. That looks pretty good. All right, we're gonna call that good. You know, that's gonna give us about 100 thousandths or so of weld in there. We're about 1,940 or so, and this is 1,740. So yeah, 100 thousandths. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're in here at the weld positioner getting ready to put one of our Pontiac hubs up on here. Now we have this opened up, and we have a couple parallels sitting here because we want to rest on this surface right here, and we're going to grab on this hub right here. Now this is going to overhang the chuck, so we're going to have to get a little creative here on clamping this down. We went ahead and got our 3/8 extension and ratchet with the universal on the end here, and we can get up in here. Hey, sometimes this is your chuck wrench. Oh yeah, we're good now. All right. I'm sure it's going to run true enough. We could check it. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take a blanket and wrap around here. And this is just so the heat isn't just drawn out into the atmosphere willy-nilly, and working on keeping things warm and controlling our temperature is, I find it, you work at it just a little bit to prep it up, and it's easier to work with. Okay. Okay, I like that. Because I want to put some heat in around here. I want to warm the whole hub up. And then after that, then I'll focus some heat in on this one area here. And once I have about 400 degrees or so on this area right here, then I'll go ahead and start establishing my arc. Now I'm going to use the TIG torch. And I'm just using 1/8 tungsten here. And I'm going to mix in, about 5% helium, 10% helium, because I have a Y, and I just kind of give it that percentage rate as far as the bubble hanging with the argon. And it's just eyeball by sensing and practicing over the years what I actually need for that. Got my torch set up here. I'm really enjoying my new mixing barrel with the resters built into it. It's about, what did we say, 4 ounces lighter than my other unit with the arresters out here. Really enjoying that. That brazing job was nice and comfortable with that, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to be using 4643 rod. I have that choice, or I have 4043. And I like the 4643 because, one, I'm not just joining two pieces of material here. I'm actually building up material. And the 4643, once I have it built up, I'm going to be building up at least an 1/8-inch wall around there. And I go to machine that back down. I like to go ahead and give it a 400-degree quench. And that material is real nice to turn. It's not gummy, and it gives me good results. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to weld this up here, and we're going to let the whole thing normalize down to about 400, and then we'll go ahead and just take this snout in, and we'll quench this into the water, and then set that, and then it'll be ready to go into the lathe. Okay, let's set up our sitting area, and I want to bring this down to where it's at the right position for me to sit here comfortably. And I'm running 2 foot pedals. I got one for the rotation and one for the torch here. And I think that's going to be a pretty good angle right there. And I'm good visual. Now I'm not going to be able to, I don't have a lens for you yet to comfortably come in and look over my shoulder. This is such a small hole, and I just want to get her done. What I'm going to do is, you'll just see from afar me welding this up, and then I'm going to give you some close-ups with my other camera mixed in, so that you got a view of what's going on in the weld. That's my best. That's the best I can do for this project here. And then after that, we'll get in there and we'll do some machining on the weld. All right. Let me make sure everything's on and get ready to go here. Every once in a while you hear a little clunk, more so probably when I start welding. The parallels come loose inside there, so they're going back and forth. Only about 140, 150 degrees narrow in the center. Almost 250 or so right now. Okay. I'm happy with that as far as the preheat. You know, preheat is important. It's actually being polite to your project, because you don't want to put an extreme amount of heat right here and then have it go out this way and then contract and go away. You want the whole project warmed up so there's no great change anywhere in there. You have too drastic of a change, it can really pull and distort, and a lot of other things that way. Also, if things are cooling down too fast, you can actually have welds pull and crack next to that weld as well. All right, let's speaking of welding, let's get to it. Okay, here's looking down in there at our cutout, all ready to be welded up. All right, let's go ahead and start laying in some beads here. Okay, you really gotta get comfortable on this here, and I do like Jody's TIG gloves because I'm gonna just rest it right here. I think something like that. That way, see, I got this edge right here. This is, you can hear the ching ching. Okay, that's the parallels just moving around in there. All right, but I can hold steady right here. All right, so let's bring it around here to where I want to start. That looks like a good place right there. Okay, that root pass right there is the rough one, and it's like I can't really hold the rod in front of it and just do an even flow with the rod all the way around. I do have to bring it out and then dab it in when I can, because it's more important to get down and bond that corner down in there than it is to make it a pretty weld over the top. All right, so here's the shot looking down in, and I'll rotate it around. And I did have an area right there where I actually kind of got my tungsten in there close, but I was able to recover. There's a lot of poisons and stuff there. That's why I'm going to hit it with a wire brush right now. Okay. Now I want to point out as well, I'm going to point out that, see these colorings that you see right here? That's oil and grease coming out of the pores. And also too, that's got somewhat of what I got going on down into the bore. But we're all wire wheeled and cleaned out and we're ready. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a bead down there on top of the retainer for the back of the bearing down there in the bottom. That'll be our next spot. And then we'll start coming out onto the bore. Okay, I just wanted to show, even though we had a little contact down in there, I still got a good gloss on the end of my tungsten there. So we didn't have a catastrophic touch. We were just interrupted just a brief second there, and that's all that shadowing was in there. All right, here we go. Okay, we got a good pass. You just saw the parallel go past down there in the bottom. All right, there goes again. All right, we're satisfied with that inner lip around there. We're going to be able to build from there on out. All right, we're going to do a little bit of a wire wheel just to clean up in there, and then we're going to start feeding out along the bore. There we go. Okay, here's a snapshot of this. Looking pretty good. Okay, now last couple beads on the top. We just want to bring this up just a little bit so I can float them a little bit up, a little bit higher. Wire brush, here we go. Just get rid of that little bit of oil right around the top here. Okay. Here we go. All right. We'll put one more around on the top there, just to make sure that we are up high enough. It's pretty close, pretty close. Okay, move a few things out of the way here. Okay, and we get this unwrapped. Our temperature is just about right now to go ahead and quench it. So we're just gonna, don't be in a rush. And okay. There's our water tray, and here's our water. And we're sticking the snout down into there. Okay. All right, we're gonna let that finish cooling down, and we'll drain off our water. Nice looking bead there. Not as much oil came out of this one here as the last one, and we got a couple pictures coming up of the last one as well. We got our second one in here, and we're getting ready to bore it out. And just a real nice looking bead out here, and we got plenty of material all the way down in here. From the other side, here's a picture of looking at the weld that you can see going up against that retainer surface on the inside. All right, just a high-speed steel boring bit. That's all we're going to need to do the machine work on this end. And we're just going in, we're going to create a minor diameter, which will be just a tad bit more than the inside of this race, and then a bearing diameter, which will be the outside of this race minus 1.5 thousandths, and then we're going to do a face and a 45-degree chamfer. That's it. All right, this thing's actually spreading pretty good, and I think we got everything's all set. Oh, here we go. We're just going to come in and we'll just pick a contact area there. Looks good. And we're going to go ahead and give that 1/16 of an inch, 32nd per side. And like most of our other roughing cuts, once we get a round diameter in there, we'll measure it so we know what size we're actually turning, and then we'll set our dial accordingly to that. And we're just getting a glimpse in here. And we didn't quite go all the way through, but we're through enough to know that we're still on the safe side, and we can safely take another 30-40. And that's what we'll do. We'll take a 25, that'll be 50 off the diameter. And the cut looks really good. By the quenching that we did on that weld, it really leaves the weld material nice quality, machinable. Earbuds. Okay. A little neutral so we can rotate around. Yeah, nice looking diameter there. Okay, I'm going to get a dimension across here with the, let's see, can I get snap rings in here yet? Let me see. Yeah, I should be able to. Let's see. Somewhere right in there. Yeah, that feels good. I believe this actually finishes up that minor diameter we're looking for is something like 1/420 or something like that. Okay, we're at 1 inch 261. Okay, here we go, 30 thousandths cut. We'll take a 1/16 of an inch out of here. Pretty nice in there. Yes, it was 1 inch 420, 410, 420 is what we made the other minor diameter there. Okay, we got 1 inch 320, so about 100 thousandths from here will be our minor diameter, which will be way back in the hole there. All right, we're getting down to nitty gritty. We're just, I think we're going to take a measurement here, but I'm pretty sure I'm about 5 thousandths away from what I want here. And yeah, we're at like 411 or so. So we're going to take a 5 thousandths cut. And that surface finish is looking really good. Take it out of gear here. Let's see. There we go. Okay, let's go with the 5 thousandths cut here. That'll leave a pretty nice finish in there for the miner. And then we're going to come out and we're going to come across and we're going to claim the face. After we have the face, then of course, then from there we know that we have 0.812 on the depth of our bearing bore, and we can start taking that out to size. Really nice. Oh, I like that. Okay, same bit. I'm going to come here. Now we're going to come over and we're going to touch out here. And that gives us a rough 0 point on our travel dial. With just a visual to come out here. And right there we just set 0. But we're going to cut from the inside out. It's the way we like to cut. Alright, back in gear. We come in and we touch here first. Now we're about 50 thousandths of build up there. We're going to take half of it. There's 25. Okay, now we take half of that, or 15 thousandths, wherever the dial stops. We're just doing a physical check here. Alright, take another 5. Okay, I clear that out so I get a good visual, and I'm going to just lightly bump it in. There's our 0 right there. Okay, it was lightly touching. Now we're just coming in. Okay, and that is 0. So our dial set at 0, and our depth will be off of that surface right there. I like that. We're going to bring it on out. We do a 45, and then afterwards we just kind of kiss this with some paper out here by hand, and that'll finish that off. That's what we did on the other one. Looks pretty good. All right, 812 deep is our depth. We're going to start off with a couple 25s. Okay, we stopped our depth at 800. We'll bore this out to finish size, and then we'll come in that last 12 thousandths, and we'll feed across, and we'll create a square bottom to our piece. And that always leaves us, as we're going, a safety margin of at least 12 thousandths to stop at the right spot as we're going. All right. Okay, let's see here. We're getting down there close now. All right, 1 inch, 7, 50, 56, 57. All right, so we only got about 30 left, because it's going to be finishing up at 80 and a half. All right, so I'm sneaking up on it now. I'm going to take 5. Because I want to start working on that finish. When you go from taking 25 at a time, you know, you want to reduce it a little bit, making sure that you're getting that actual cut on your part. Because sometimes you have tool pressure that might be holding back that 1/1000 or so. On this material here, you don't really have any tool pressure that would be pushing my carriage around to create a spring cut there, but $767. Okay. All right, another 5/1000. And that should leave us with 2 or 3 to go ahead and take from here per side. I think on the other one there we went for 80, and then the spring cut brought us to or a secondary, a same pass cut over there. All right, so we got 1 inch 775. So we'll go ahead and put in 2.5 here. I'm setting my dial to 0 so that I can come back to that 0. When I get to the bottom there, I'm going to bring it in towards the center and then pull out so I don't leave that back cut. This carriage has always done a slight back cut on the operator side of the bore. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. $780.5. I like that finish. Okay, we're going to go ahead, we're going to come in, and we're going to face that bottom down there, and then we'll come out here and we'll give this a 45, and we're just going to polish it with a little bit of paper, and we are finished with this project. And that bore, one little spot, one little tiny spot right there, in there, but the rest of it looks really solid. Real happy with the weld buildup. Okay. Come in here. 812. Now we just come out until we hit into that corner. Sound like we were hitting into the corner, but you always want to make sure. I'm not at my mark yet. Nope. And right there's our 0. Okay. Now we're going to come out here, and we're set at a 45 already. And we're just kind of eyeballing this. It was like a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, that looks good to me. Earbuds. Okay. We're going to polish it, but I want to wipe off all the oil here before I do that. Voila. Love that. All right, now we have a spot here and a spot here. We got to take a rotary burr and we got to put that scallop into the back wall so that we can get from the other side, we can hit the punch, or the next person knocking the next race out can tap that bearing race out of there. All right, and that's gonna be a nice fit. They're gonna dry ice and warm up the housing and drop them in there. Okay, we get in, we get our hose in the right position here where we can steady our arm and our hand right here, and we're going to take the rotary burr, and the very first thing we do is we put a little aluminum tap right on the burr. Really helps out right here and right here. In line with these two studs right here is the slot in here. good material. Takes. Almost. Alright, take and we'll blow that with the air and kind of look at that lip that we got on there. And we see it behind there, and we're almost matching perfect on this side here, and we got just a little bit more on this side over here. We can see what the original shape is in the back there. Okay, that's pretty good on that side. All right, now we'll drop over here to that side right there. Okay, we're going to clear that one out so we can see the same thing. Pretty close, pretty close. A little bit more on the depth might be nice. All right, I like that. All right, we'll get that one out of the lathe here. This one here is all done. We'll get a couple other shots of them just sitting down here before we put them in the box, and they're going to install the new bearings and all of that over at the shop. And there we go, 1968. Ready to rock and roll again. All right, I hope had something in there for anybody, and hope everybody else enjoyed it. Don't forget the Frontier store, or Store Frontier, new t-shirts, sweatshirts, and at my regular swag rack, my hats, and or just go to my website and hit that sponsorship. Thank you very much. Until next time, get her done. All right, we're getting a sneak peek here at the Bonneville we did the hubs for. Looking under his hood there. Looking pretty nice. Alright guys, there you go. You get to see where the work's going to go on this particular job. Nice clean car. Alright. These are the rims that bolt to those 8 luggers.